Hello.
Hey, BSJ, what's up?
Yo. Not much. I'm excited to watch these games. How was
Me
your
too.
Warcraft 3 session?
Me too. It was fun. We just got a new patch, actually. Very surprising.
Oh, how often do those happen?
Not often enough.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wouldn't expect that game to get patched too often. That's
Yeah.
cool.
I thought it was done, but they just did a PTR patch. Though I will say it's probably one of the worst I've ever seen. But maybe they'll still adjust it after hearing feedback. It's cool that something is changing.
Yeah, I mean at least they're paying attention. That's a good sign.
Yep. So I see that you've chosen a series. Or, oh, no. They all run in sequence. There is only one series.
Yeah, there is only one game to choose. Yeah.
Good. Okay. We're going to watch through the client?
Yeah, I was just watching this for the draft because nothing was happening.
Yep.
You said the client is like right on the same schedule, right? It's like
Yeah.
live.
Yeah, because at the TI Hub we were swapping in and out of the stream and the game, and it was same time. So
Okay, yeah, I'll keep an eye out for when it loads in game.
I think usually what we did and what we can do too is watch the stream for the draft and then switch the in-game for the game.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. Let me load that up. Are we watching Yatoro or Collapse? Yeah, we got options. BSJ and I didn't agree on one yet.
Yeah, we said we'd take turns choosing who we'd pick to watch.
Yeah,
I know I'm picking somebody from Spirits, so.
Wait, I feel like we should watch the same guy.
No, I'm saying that like first game you can choose who we watch, and then the second game
Oh, sure.
I'll choose who we watch.
Sure. Yeah, let's do that. Let's watch for the. Let's just be selfish and watch for what we probably perceive as the best player to watch.
Who do you perceive as the best player to watch?
Whew. I agree. Following Team Spirit is probably on the money, and then I am personally most interested in the carry and offlane role.
I'm down for one game of Yatoro and one game of Collapse then.
Yeah. What about you? You want to watch mid support?
No, I'm the same way. 3 and 1 all the way. Those are my favorite roles.
Cool. Same here. At the moment, anyway. Plus, I think it's easiest to learn from that rather than support in one of these games. I want to see how the carry farms and stays safe and stuff.
Nice.
I saw you played against Yatoro just now.
Yeah, I hate laning against Yatoro because that guy gets ganked for every game. He's already beating me in lane. It's already hard enough as it is. And then I just get ganked all the time. Oh, it's funny.
Oh,
but
man. Yeah. I tried to put myself in your shoes or anyone's shoes that's like laning up against Yatoro without being, let's say, like a top competitive 13k MMR sweaty pro player. And I'm thinking, anytime I would think that I can pick him in lane or something, or find him and gank him on the map, I'm always thinking he's done like a cost-benefit analysis and it's not going to be worth it. Like, it's a kind of despair before I would even dare to go for it.
To be fair, I did kill him once. So we put that in the highlight reel.
Nice.
Playoffs.
Very good.
No, the thing is, I always learn so much laning against super good players like that because they just, I mean, the way I feel like I learn the best is when they do something that I would just never do, right? Or like I would have never thought to do it. And then I'm like, wow. And I can't really do anything about it either. You know, I'm like, that was a really aggressive play. And he bullied me away from 2 creeps. And he's Spectre, you know, I would have never done that. So,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But looks like we got a pretty standard draft coming out so far.
Yeah. You've probably done some analysis on the drafts from last weekend.
Yeah, a little bit. I was mainly just looking at the overall hero picks and the meta, not as much like specific drafts.
Sure.
What did you guys talk about when you were at the hub?
Well, I mean, I don't remember verbatim, of course, what we talked about.
I would like a dissertation with the exact script, please. Thank you.
Yeah. What exactly did you talk about, and did my name come up?
Yes.
Yeah, it did. I remember a couple of stats. Shadow Demon was one of the most popular. He was very highly regarded by my co-casters, but his win rate inexplicably was in the low 30s.
Yeah, I did see that. His win rate was really low.
Spirit Breaker, very popular, very highly contested. Some first bans, the more and more as the games went on. Now he slipped through, and we're gonna see Team Spirit pick him up. Collapse was pretty damn good on Breaker.
Yeah, I was one hero I was looking towards was CK because I know he was getting picked and banned a little bit here and there, but his like contest rate compared to how good I thought he was, like I thought CK was a 99% pick ban hero in this current
Ah,
patch. So it's interesting to see that he's now just in the first game of this playoffs, he's already getting first round banned.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's in just I don't know what the meta exactly is with drafting in your pubs, but like in the Immortal pubs, it's just like Treant, CK, like every game they're just first round picked or banned.
It's filtered down a good amount. It's been a lot of Treants and Visage as well.
Visage.
Oh, sorry, Vengeful.
Oh, vengeful.
Your
Yes, yes. I
surprise
was like,
is well founded.
I haven't seen a single visage, but yeah, I've seen a lot of vengeful spirits. Yeah.
Breaker in my bracket gets played as a 3 mostly because of TI, but before that he was played also as a 4, a 5, and even regrettably as a 2, where in my opinion it usually fails.
Yeah, the thing about heroes like Spearbreaker mid is they don't really do anything to the other mid, so the other mid will usually just have absolute free farm. They can
Yeah.
maybe like wreck the side lanes, but I feel like a lot of the mid laners right now, the reason why Dazzle I think is first banned is because like Earth Spirit and stuff just get absolutely dumpstered by him in lanes, so giving like an Earth Spirit a good start is kind of just a disaster right now, I think. Like the guy has like a 10-minute vessel and just kills everybody.
Don't you think that's a bit an issue with Breaker 3 as well, that he doesn't like bully the carry all too much?
Yeah, it definitely is an issue. I feel like it kind of ruins your game later, though. Like, I feel like Spearbreaker is one of the most like anti-carry offlaners in the game because you can't really show on lanes. Eventually, he has a BKB piercing, like 3 stuns, consistently locking you down.
Yeah, he's a late game hero for sure. So like somehow in trying to counter him, because obviously he's been allowed through the draft, right? So the idea to counter him must be some kind of early game momentum, hitting timings earlier than before he gets all the pieces assembled.
Yeah, the thing about Spearbreaker I've noticed so far, because he's definitely really strong, is that I think his most powerful trait is that he prevents the opponent from farming while he's farming, because like he's also such a threat. So I actually don't mind letting the game go late. I feel like it's almost impossible to stop Spearbreaker's farm. So I'd rather pick heroes with the intent to like either buy Midas's or have like illusions to push waves or something like this, or heroes like Bristle that are hard to charge, that can just scale anyways and kind of just match him later. That's been my approach so far, because it's not that I think it's the best approach, I just don't really know anything else. Like, I feel like it always goes late right now, and Spearbreaker just always has items because he just one-shots creep waves with charge, so
Yeah.
it just seems tough to shut him down.
Spectre's a bit similar as him.
Yeah, Spectre, another hero I was surprised wasn't seen as much play at TI because it's in every pub. Really high win rate.
I tried playing
also-
Spectre, but she kind of struggles in the lane when I play her.
Yeah, she's a weird hero in lane. I was theory crafting this on stream the other day because Spectre used to be really good against the backline supports like AA.
Yeah.
Because you just push Haunt and they would kind of be removed from the fight. But now I feel like heroes like Hoodwink and AA are really tough to play against because they don't show, right? They don't actually like reveal themselves in the fight until you push your button, and then they can show. And I've noticed that when Spectre goes in now, since she can't reality rift out or reality back out instantly, it's a 3-second cooldown, because in the past you could like spam it and you'd be like jumping all over the place. But I feel like every time I've seen Spectre against AA, she haunts in and then just dies to the blast. Like, yeah, because she's stuck there now. So yeah, that's been my experience thus far. So I'm curious to see how it plays out in an actual professional match, because I've seen this matchup maybe 4 times in the last week and it always looks the same. So,
Good for AA.
yeah,
Really? Huh.
it like the AA won all 4 times. Yeah.
Wow.
It wasn't even like the first time I was kind of surprised, right? The first time I was like, huh, I always thought Spectre was really good against AA. And then like the second, third, fourth time, it was just the same story. Spectre haunts on a core, gets like stunned a single time, and AA just blasts, and then Spectre just blows up.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Maposhka loves AA, and it's very good against what VP is drafting. I don't play too much Pugna, but I also I played Pugna recently, and the opponent had a burst combo plus AA, and I just don't do anything to save. Like, I'm not actually a save anymore. I can't heal them. I can't decrep them. So
That's
I'm
true.
kind of, I don't really know why they picked Pugna when they picked it, to be honest. I know Pugna Grim is strong, but that's about it.
Pugna Grim does what?
You can put the Phantom on them and then decrypt, so they get stuck. Like they're
Oh, they can't clear the Phantom.
yeah. So if you get like the Grimstroke ulti, double suck, double decrypt, usually 2 people die to that
Oh,
until
yeah.
BKBs.
Yeah, Faceless Breaker is a bit more of an awkward combo. They can't really help each other too much in the same fight. But Hoodwink AA are pretty nice backup to a Chronosphere.
Yeah, I mean, I just call this the Bash Bros lineup, you know. But it's I think the Spear Breaker. I mean, I think the way that Faceless Void will play this game is I think he'll buy a few dispels and he'll be much more of like a bait spells out kind of guy. Like he's gonna time dilate the supports, he's gonna time dilate the bristle. Mainly, like they're not gonna play as much around Chrono as they are gonna be about like disengaging, re-engaging, disengaging, re-engaging because they have charged, hoodwink, spam spells from afar. Kind of makes sense that they went Viper with that. They're having like a ranged like Hurricane Pike mid guy. And it also owns Bristle, but I don't know about
Break.
Viper. I was wondering if we'd see him.
Break for Spectre, break for Bristle. Seems great.
Oh yeah, the Spectre too. Yeah, that's a really cool Viper pick actually. Okay, based on Spear Breaker or Void, which one would you rather watch?
If I didn't look at teams, I would follow Spectre personally.
Would you like to change your vote? This is your game to choose.
Let me think.
I'm open to watching Spectre.
I think Spectre, Faceless, and Spirit Breaker are all interesting to watch. Right?
I think the Spectre one is interesting because he's against Viper, as well as like the Hoodwink break, so he's gonna have a tough time playing the game, I think. So I'm down to watch like how he would navigate a tough game.
I also like to watch the winner.
That's true.
The one that ends up winning, because otherwise I'm trying to like I'm finding reason for why he's doing things in a doomed game. Like to me, this feels pretty damn good draft for Spirit. So indeed challenging for Spectre, but he's still gonna of course do really well. But he's a good player.
What do you like the most about Team Spirit's draft? You didn't really say like you hadn't leaned towards anybody as far as I could tell during the draft so far.
I think there's 3 ranged damage dealers that support Chronosphere extra damage very well. So it's not like we have like a full melee lineup, which sometimes happens in my lobbies. Viper with the double break against Bristle and Spectre. Runs a pretty good momentum game as well. Bristle needs a little bit of time. Bristle from the offlane here, a little bit more of a greedy offlaner that doesn't maybe do as much against Hoodwink AA. I feel like Spirit has them really well countered. Bristle wants healing, Pugna wants healing, and AA is not going to allow that as much. The supports and the range can peel for each other on Team Spirit. Breaker is a late game menace. And then Faceless is a late game menace. They've got great late game. The challenge for them will be early game. But with a greedy lineup like Bristle, Spectre, I'm not sure that they have enough early game to win. So I'm favoring Spirit quite a bit. How about you?
Yeah, I'm just impressed. That was a lot, and I agree with all of it. So, yeah, it's one of those things where just purely based on what I've seen from AA Spectre in that interaction this patch, I feel like I don't know who Spectre goes on because they don't have like a lion, you know, like some hero that says Hex, Spectre haunts in, burst that guy, and then it's over. I feel like even if they reality on top of somebody, whether it's Spearbreaker or Void, or anybody else, and then the Spearbreaker Void's gonna then stun the Spectre, and then there's the AA Blast, the break from Viper. So
yeah,
I guess I just don't really know like what the recipe for fights for VP is. I don't really know like how they stop this Spearbreaker from just going Midas Octarine and charging every single creep wave. Like they don't actually have reliable lockdown for Spearbreaker. Maybe Lina goes Yules, like you know, like Etherland's Yules and catches them that way, but I don't actually know any other way of them accomplishing that.
I agree with you. When I saw a Breaker get countered once, I forgot which team, in a draft in the group stages. They were against the team, I think it was Nounce actually. I think Nounce disassembled Breaker once from Tundra. And they had Earthshaker and 2 other melee cores that had a lot of lockdown. And you don't see any of that here for Team Spirit.
Yeah,
sorry,
did you wanna...
for Team VP. Yeah, let's choose a player. There's also predictions. Predictions,
I don't
whatever.
have predictions because I don't have the compendium.
Oh, okay. Never mind predictions. We'll follow the player. Let's follow Yatoro then.
Should I just get the compendium? I feel like I should. I'll get it after this game, so we'll have
Okay.
predictions for future games.
All right, let's follow Yatoro. His challenge as a faceless is what? What for challenges do you foresee for him?
It's more so like, where does he find the farm? Like, what I love about Yatoro is he just queues up all of his items. Like, you can already see that he's planning Mask of Madness instead of Midas. I'm curious why. Maybe it's like the sustain aspect of being against a hero like Bristle in fights, where even though you're lowering your armor during the active, you're actually able to sustain a bit.
Yeah, I think that's it.
But I think he just has to be alive in fights, I'll be honest. I think like the threat of Chrono is more important than the actual Chrono this game, because other than like Lina ulti, I don't see how VP really kills anybody if they don't see Spirit Breaker or Void. Like, they can't really, the Lina can't really step up. The Bristle can just die to AA Blast.
You see Faceless as a surrogate, not like number one, like not total carry here. Like, you see as Chrono as a tool, not just as a self-enabler.
Yeah, I see it more as a tool because of the fact that without, or when you have heroes like Pugna in the equation, like, he's not going to be the one killing them in the Chronosphere until late game.
Yeah.
He will eventually maybe buy like a Nullifier or something of the like, but I feel like this is a lane where he's just kind of going to chill. He might max Time Walk.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of max Time Walk for safety. You could see Yatoro was dodging the Nether Blast because he knows it's going to hit the range creep. He didn't want to be in that. Mask of Madness feels a little risky into Bristleback since it's so much physical damage and you're dropping your armor. But like, realistically, he's not going to Chronosphere the Bristle for a long time anyway.
Yeah, and if they have the Viper plus the Bristleback passive isn't going to do too much, probably.
True.
These are interesting spots because, like, I would just never do that Time Walk specifically. Like, I'm wondering why they're not really pulling. I don't think they're really enjoying, like, engaging this. Like, Void's... I feel like getting slightly out CS right now. I actually don't know.
I just saw an Insania interview from Team Liquid, the 3 tips series that they've been doing. Did you see it?
I did not see it, no.
Of course, it's basic tips geared towards the average player. But he was like, 3 tips that will make your carry happy or your core happy. Right? Don't leave the lane when the creep waves are meeting as support. Because, well, you just need to be there. Like, your carry will, or your core will feel like you're just not present in the lane if you're constantly walking around doing pulls and stacks and sentry removals, etc. And if the core is like 1v2 in lane, they're gonna all in him and it's bad. But that might just be a very general tip, because we know AA likes to play for pulls, right?
Yeah, I don't think that's wrong. I would say that like the majority of lanes, as a carry, if my support's not there to like fend them off or dissuade aggression, then I can't even walk up sometimes. But with Void specifically, he's like a very independent carry. He doesn't really help you all that much, but he also doesn't need too much help. And then, you know, they don't have any stuns on the opponents, just Pugna, Bristle. So they end up playing for the pull. But I guess Maposhka just wanted to prioritize stacking it. So that might also be the explanation, is he'd rather stack pull at 2 minutes than single pull at 1:15. Maybe that was the idea. Yeah.
In a way, maybe he wanted the XP from the wave so that he has a little bit more threat with the EQ.
That's true, actually. That could be the factor of balance. I know professional teams do think about the exact balance of like how much XP the support and carry get based on the power spikes of each hero.
Right.
So maybe they think AA is level 2 is so valuable he should stay in lane. That totally makes sense as well.
I wonder, like, they do the stack and the pull on a double stacked small camp, but Bristle and Pugna are really capable of clearing those creeps, and they did. That's what they chose to do rather than like diving Faceless with the 1.5 waves on their tower. Is that why they don't block the camp and they're happy with that exchange? Because that's quite a lot of last hits for Bristle.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably largely why they didn't block it, and I also think as a carry, I'm happy if if there's a lot of contest going on at the small camp and I'm just under tower like Yatoro is right now, just not getting harassed, not getting my creeps denied.
Sure.
So I think since they can clear the stack, it's worth it for them to be over there. And then for Team Spirit's side, as Void, I'm happy with this. So it's probably just like mutual. Both teams are fine with what's going on here.
Yeah, mutual selfish exchange.
Yes. Looks like A might actually be ganking bottom.
Yeah.
He's going through the portal right now.
Interesting to see also that, like, I love this first person analysis because I see Yatoro looking at them, and that brings up the importance of me looking at such things a little bit more. And that's even despite the potential information he could be getting via team camps already, because I wouldn't have looked at that.
Yeah, I think what happens there is that his thought is, okay, so he is actually gonna max bash. I guess that is usually what you do if you go Mask of Madness, but usually it's Mask Time Walk if you go Midas. But it's one of those where his support leaving means that he's gonna be alone, right? And then also what happens in that bottom lane kind of tells him if like Grimstroke's going to be dead and TPing top potentially, if Grimstroke's going to be like no resources, and so he shouldn't feel dangerous playing 1v2. I'd say like what happens down there, I've noticed as a carry, if I kind of lose track of what's happening in the other lanes, I'll suddenly have like 3 heroes in my face and be like confused.
Oh yeah.
Like why I have 3 heroes in my face. But if you see your bottom lane getting like destroyed, or like Grimstroke's just full HP, full mana, and got a kill, then suddenly you're like, okay, this might bleed into my lane, you know?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You can't predict what's going to happen if you don't know the state of the other lanes.
Just with the twin gates, it's so common now where it's just like, surprise, five position behind you, you know?
Yeah. It's interesting how in Dota, it's both the other lane going poorly for enemy team, as well as the other lane going well for the enemy team. Both can result in you getting ganked as a carry.
True.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I'd say it is weird. It's a funny observation. I'd say going off of what I know and also what you just said, it's like the more imbalanced the lanes are, the more likely a team is going to move.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Because they're less contested and there's less chance for like either his carry's absolute free farm and he doesn't have to be there anymore, or his carry's hopeless. Can't win the lane even if they're both there, so he'll just leave anyway.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
That's true. So it's balance that leads to their balance leads to your balance, and their imbalance, whichever way, leads to imbalance for you.
Yeah, exactly. I'd say like the more snowballed, like you know how some games the game is even, but it's because the mid lane's even and the 2 side lanes are mutually destroyed. You know, like both safe lanes won really hard, or both off lanes won really hard. That's like, but the game is effectively even, but that means there should be a lot of rotations in the game.
Yeah.
But in this game, like, I'd say there's not going to be too many rotations comparatively, just because if you look at the CS, like none of the cores are having a super bad game. There's always going to be some rotations, but it's usually just going to be like a support in this case. But maybe Yatoro might go. He is looking. He doesn't have Mask of Madness though, so he doesn't really do damage.
Yeah, so he just has the sustain mask early, before even getting Wraith banned, which I suspect is not a guarantee yet that he's going to finish it.
No, I've seen Yatoro do this where he'll have the Wraith ban queued up and he'll end up going it after like Maelstrom sometimes. Like
really?
He's actually the only person I'd seen do it, and I started doing it sometimes because
you're doing it because he's doing it, but do you understand
I'm like, there has to be some merit to this shit, you know? And it felt kind of interesting. It's mainly when you have slots. Like a hero like Void generally doesn't run out of slots, but he is going to get that gank, and Spectre might be enough to finish him off.
Yeah, it's interesting. Did you see that he was thinking about putting in Lotus, but he actually decided there's no time to do it anyway? He knew he's going to die within 6 seconds, so he didn't even bother.
I did not notice that. Okay.
Like, he went to his Lotus, he was going to put it in for the branch, and he realized, nah, I'm dead in 4. So he didn't bother. Which technically is the most efficient thing he could do, because he would have removed the branch, which is like, what, 20 health? From his inventory.
True. It's all about the little things. That's why I'm actually interested that he's not going Mask of Madness and Max Time Walk, because... Or sorry, why he's going Mask of Madness and Max Bash rather than Midas and Max Time Walk. I would have done the Max Time Walk with Midas because of what exactly just happened there is other than Grimstroke Phantom, they have no way of actually stopping him from time walking.
Ah.
So he died during the duration of his cooldown of time walk, which I thought was. That's why I feel like I know everything about Void, for instance. Like I've played 300 games of Void, but then he does something completely different than what I would do here. So I'm kind of just waiting to see how he uses the Mask of Madness once he gets it, because up until this point, the builds are about the same, right? Like you don't really do damage with either build until you get the full Mask of Madness. So kind of curious.
Someone pointed out he could have TP'd inside the Chronosphere, would have definitely kept him safe from Spectre. True, but I wonder either he didn't think about Spectre in that moment, or he didn't want it, or he wanted it to be used rather than not used. But I gotta think it was not on his mind in that moment, because it's never good to die to the enemy one.
Yeah, I would imagine it's most likely, like you said, in any situation where the carry hero is anything other than Spectre, he would have lived there. So
yeah,
it was probably like in his head, he's maybe not expecting the gank in the first place, and then he's like calculating how to survive this gank, and then like you said, even though there is a Spectre in the game, he briefly forgets that there is a Spectre. Even the best players do this type of stuff when there's a lot of pressure going on in the game.
So between Mask and Midas, I think Midas is one of the most thought-requiring items in how it changes your gameplay style. With Mask of Madness, he's going to be more relevant early with his Chronospheres.
Yeah, that is absolutely true, but also at the same time, like, the Pugna factor is what I'm skeptical about. Like, he can't really kill the Bristleback with Mask of Madness anyways, and then anywhere Pugna is, he can't kill anybody either. So I think there is a chance he just uses this Mask of Madness to hit creeps until Maelstrom.
Yeah.
And then maybe the Mask of Madness Maelstrom timing, he'll feel comfortable just chronoing Pugna, for instance, and then killing him.
Yeah.
Full to 0.
What do you think has better XP growth? This maxed out Bash, this maxed out Time Lock with Mask build, or Midas?
I definitely think it's Midas myself.
Yeah.
But it's not super far off, I'd say.
He gets 35 attack speed from Midas. This one gives 110, but only has an uptime of 6 out of 16, about 40%, but there's walking time.
Yeah,
so
walking time, I was going to say, yeah.
We can call it, when he's hitting creeps, that he has about maybe 60% uptime of Mask of Madness, which if you apply that to 110 attack speed gives him 65. So 65 instead of 35 from Midas, and then also gives damage and baseline attack speed. Means that Mask, roughly the same price as Midas, gives a faster farming speed, so that would have to be compensated by the Midas's, what is it, 2.2 modifier on gold and XP?
Yeah, 2.1.
On gold and XP, right?
2.1 on XP, just a flat 160 on gold. It's definitely close, and I like the way you think about the math. I mean, I'm like a math guy, and I don't do it this much, so like I should, honestly. I like the thought process behind it. I feel like the big thing for me about Mask of Madness is how often I feel comfortable using it while I'm farming. Because like if you're against a lineup that, say they smoke and they find you in your Mask of Madness, there's times where you will die because you have Mask of Madness active on rather than not having it on.
Yes.
So I have to imagine with Yatoro, like, I'd say against Bristle, I pretty much always lose the early game like this. Lena's also a really strong laner, so the way Team Spirit usually functions is they'll proceed to stall this type of the game out for like 20 minutes and do virtually nothing. I'm surprised they made a move into the triangle. Maybe they were trying to contest stacks.
Are you looking at the minimap or panning your camera?
I'm honestly not doing anything. I'm just watching what Yatoro sees.
Yes.
You're totally welcome to do whatever you want. I just
yeah, I'm not clicking either. I like to see the true Yatoro look.
Yeah, because I want to know, like, he's probably hearing some things from his team, but even just like the glance at that fight, you know, he's like, he's very uninterested in it. He didn't even consider like heading that way and looking to Chronosphere. I think it's important for people to see that like he has Chronosphere, and he's not even considering going to these fights.
Yeah.
And I will talk about the fact that when I mentioned the Mask of Madness, the reason why I would have hesitated to go Mask of Madness is because of the Pugna and the Bristle. I don't think he can really kill anybody with just the Mask of Madness. So then That's why I thought he wouldn't buy it. But now,
but I think that's
now
a great.
I have to consider is it the next timing. Go ahead.
That's a great reason. Isolation. Like if you think that he can't kill anyone, and let's say it's true for the simplicity's sake of arguing it, it's true. He can't do that. Then we know by elimination that he did it because he thinks it's better farming than Midas.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
When do you want... and then if we say that that's true as well, which would be a fair assumption, I think, also based on the fact that he hasn't tried to chronosphere anyone, except to run away, then does that mean Midas, in his mind, is overall not a good choice? Or, if you can find example games from Yatoro where he does do it, which I don't know if they exist or not, then it would be that he believes you can only do that if you have, let's say, even less space or something.
I was actually gonna say that was my immediate counterpoint, was that it might be that his read between the two items is actually whether or not he's gonna get ganked, because the difference between Midas and Mask of Madness is, in theory, if you're clearing all the camps, Mask of Madness might be faster, but if he's getting chased around the map and he's not having as much time to hit creeps, and here's the Mask of Madness Maelstrom timing, nice, and he does use it on the Pugna. Very cool.
So Pugna, the most guaranteed kill of all.
Yeah, and then the thing about stalling out games like this is that it doesn't need to be some amazing kill. They're not like trying to team fight. They're just trying to accelerate themselves a little bit and just slow down VP just a little bit. And even though they were down by 2K at like 12 minutes, this is just like par for the course for Team Spirit, I think. And we were talking about how their heroes kind of naturally counter a lot of what VP's doing. You have the AA blast against the decrep heal. You have the break from Viper. So this is like, in my experience, the way Team Spirit drafts. They have like natural answers to your heroes as the game goes on.
Yeah.
But it looks like they're getting a good fight on Team Spirit, or on VP right now. I love how Yatoro's not even looking.
He looked for a bit, and then he thought whatever happens, happens. He knows he has to wash his hands from it, because he can't go there anyway.
Yeah, he's probably like, looks like Spearbreaker's dead. It'll probably take him like 20 seconds to kill him. I'll just go back to hitting creeps.
Your thoughts on Lincoln Sphere?
I really wish I had said something, because my exact build this game would have been Midas, Maelstrom, Manta Lincolns. That would have been my exact build.
I believe you.
So he's going Lincoln's Manta, which I wonder why. Like, because for me, the Manta is in theory better than the Lincolns, just because the way he dies is the Grimstroke bug.
Did you say bug?
Maybe the bug. Yeah, sorry, the Phantom.
The creature.
The Phantom.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, sorry, I think of it as Weaver bug.
Yeah,
but yeah. Maybe Lena has. Yeah, so maybe he's actually thinking about this Lena like Yule's type of deal, and that's why he thinks Lincoln's. Like,
what about Spectre
when I'm playing,
Hunt?
Oh, you're right. Actually, it is the Spectre. Oh yeah, duh.
So he gets found by someone with lockdown. He wants to make sure that he can either run right away because Phantom Embrace fails, or he doesn't get Spectred, if that's the first
It's
thing.
absolutely the Spectre. Yeah, that's super obvious. Now, right when you said it, I was like, oh, I'm a dumbass.
Well, there's a lot to think about.
Yeah, it's the when I'm in game, I tend to remember I treat Spectre like Spearbreaker now, where it's like, you know, I don't want to get charged. I don't want to get a reality onto, or whatever it's called now, Shadow Step.
We still don't know he's going to do it for sure. He has it queued up.
Nah, he'll do it. He's the Manta Lincolns and Pioneer, dude. This guy
Really?
pioneered this shit. Yeah, he was playing PA like, this was like a year and a half ago, the previous patch where PA was good. And he would do this Battle Fury Manta Lincolns build.
Huh.
In games where he was winning. On Void, it's a bit different because you can actually fight with Lincolns when you're losing. PA can't really do that. But yeah, he actually made me fall in love with Manta Lincolns as a concept. So, yeah.
Why is it a concept? Just two types of defense that still give good stats?
Your defense against pretty much everything other than AoE stuns, and then also the Manta you tend to spam for farm, or like you do have mana intensive. Like, it's a mana intensive item, and then it's usually on heroes that have mana spells. Like, even though PA you wouldn't think of as mana intensive, you are spamming blink dagger, you know, blur. It adds up. So the idea of Manta on these heroes like Void and PA is they actually run out of mana because they are low mana agi cores
And
that
Lincoln
have spells.
Lincoln is what, like 4 mana regen?
I think it's actually more. Yeah, 4.25. You're right.
It
I
is
wasn't
more.
trying to nitpick.
You
I
are
thought,
right
I
too.
thought it was like 5 or 6. I wasn't trying to nitpick that hard.
Well, you are right.
He might be going down here.
Oh, he's got a blink. Oh, he's still dead.
Okay. I am a bit surprised against Pugna Spectre that they dove. They did get the Lina, though. So, is that bad? I'm not sure. I know Yatoro's not happy about it, but he may think that that was, like, worst case scenario, and that's not even that bad.
I don't remember how it ended up happening. I know he was farming in front of the tower.
Yeah, he was farming the big camp near there, and then it looks like Spirit had rotated to him to dive the Lina because they had the AA blast follow-up, but...
They brought the fight to his doorstep.
Yeah.
His own team.
The thing about this type of game is when I'm against Pugna Grim, like, no, they're not hard lockdown supports, but they do have a lot of control if you're in the middle of the fight already. Is if I'm like a Blink or a mobile carry, like Faceless Void or PA, or like a Sven that blinks in, I feel like the only time I ever really die is if I go in with my mobility spell. So, like, if I hold my mobility spell, let the fight break out, and then I use it, like, later on in the fight, I don't tend to die to those heroes. So that's why I'm, like, a tad surprised they went for a play like that. But, I just view that as the only way he could possibly die.
Yeah.
But maybe, like I said, like, they think that forcing all of VP to 5-man top effectively slows them down a bit.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that was what they were thinking, but it obviously backfired a bit.
Yeah, that's still a novel concept to me, where carry's death can be okay. It's obviously okay if 4 enemies died. Actually, in fringe cases, you may not even want that to happen. If there's like a lot riding on you. But for the most part, that would be worth it, right?
It really depends on, for me, like, what happens between the time that people are respawning. So, like, in this exact game, nothing really happened. I think VP is going to take Roche, maybe? Or, I don't even know what they're doing, actually.
And we're
They're
not
all
looking
missing.
to spoil it, which is actually interesting, because it creates the incomplete information profile that you actually have in your own pub games.
Yeah, here they are. So they were obviously missing, and you could tell Team Spirit was kind of being cautious. They realityed on top of Spear Breaker.
That feels like
Shadowblade. What does he have?
Don't you think that like a top reality on Breaker, not an easy to kill hero with no follow-up, almost guarantees that they were on Roche? Or?
I feel like it meant they were probably top, but...
Well, what a
looks like
weird smoke... Like, it feels like a smoke screen for Roche. Maybe you just planted that idea in my head. But we see Pugna on the map, and 3 others are missing, which makes it feel like Bristle, Lina, and Grimstroke are doing Roche. We haven't seen them in a while. Why else would you... If they're top, why would you blow the surprise on Breaker with a single reality rift in?
You know what you're saying is, okay, so I 100% retract my statement that they were probably top because of what you just said. You're right. That was unlikely to ever work, so there'd be no reason they were top. I think... So all the questions we're asking ourselves, I feel like is why he reality on top. Because... what is Team Spirit supposed to respond with? Like, they don't even know where they are. They could be roaching. They could be 5-manning top. Like, we don't actually know from Team Spirit's perspective where VP was. So
so you think he did an illogical move in order to create mystery?
Yeah, that's definitely something people do. It's something where it's a move where the move has no intent other than maybe the opponent reacts poorly. That's
yeah,
like
because as we know now, there was no Roche.
Yeah, there was no intent behind the play, yeah. He might get a good Chronosphere here, though. They have the charge on Pugna. Really nice placement. Oh,
that was sick. Oh, double escape use. Both the Yules and the Decrepify. A bit unfortunate, but it seems like it's going to be fine.
Yeah, that was, they bursted AA at the start, so the Pugna save is meaningful, which means that they can't finish anybody off. That's really good targeting by VP, because if they bring down AA, suddenly the Pugna has all the utility that he needs to save heroes, and then seems like they can't kill anybody. I don't know if you've had carry games where you lose late game to Pugna, but it's one of the most miserable heroes to play against as carry generally.
I have not had that, but I have seen Tapson Pugna doing 11k damage in one fight with massive AoE.
Very good.
Yeah.
Oh, Bristleback.
He's low, actually. There's a charge. Is he in trouble?
I don't know. I feel like there's no way Yatoro ever goes to this, so he's just going to farm it up. I think Team Spirit's just trying to stall. They actually burst him.
I saw the breaking charge on Bristle. He was already AA balled. I think what actually happened is that Bristle went to stand below Roche because he knew he's probably consigned to death. and he was hoping Roche would do him a solid and like stun Breaker with one hit, one lucky hit. It was like, I think his only escape.
Come on, Roche. I know I haven't always kept you alive, but come on, bro. Work with me.
Yeah, this one time and I'll believe in you. They still take it, and it's on Spectre.
I really want... I know this sounds like some carry player copium, but I just want to show you guys that they're like... He doesn't have Chronosphere right now, and the opponent's taking a really crucial objective, and all he did was push a wave and take a tower, and then just farm.
So all you need to do, all you can do, and a lot of people will say, your team needs you.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes the carry players also feel like they need to do something because the Roche is being taken, but it's like, he's just... Like, this is one of the best carry players in the world saying, I don't think I can really do anything, I'm just going to hit some creeps.
Not going there for a time dilation and then blink away.
Yeah, exactly. It's whatever he's thinks, like whatever would happen in the fight, he's viewing the like 800 gold he just got as more valuable than that time walk, time dilation, runaway play.
And the cool thing about watching Yatoro, he's not 100% right 100% of the time, but he's one of the players that's most likely to be right in almost everything he does. So all we need to try and do is try to guess why it is right.
Oh, absolutely. Exactly. I will say that what was really cool there was he had illusions farming that large camp, and I would have moved the illusions immediately to the creep wave, but he knows his team and him are not going to go top, so he intentionally blocked the camp with the illusions, thinking that that's where Spectre would be farming. That's actually was a really small pull. But here we go again.
I think you're totally right in that happening, because he looked at those illusions and didn't touch them, so there was intent. Yeah. Additionally, putting those illusions there that early would also be a tip-off that his team is not going to be there. Usually you send illusions to push a wave that you are not at, so they could mirror that and say, like, okay, Spirit is bot side because of that.
I did not think about that. That is absolutely true. That 100% possible went through his head there. That's cool.
Someone in chat pointed out we're missing so many fights. Correct. If you want to watch the fights, you can watch the main stream or something. We are going for a different perspective. We are missing fights because Yatoro is missing fights. And he's not watching them. And this is the best way to learn carry position, is to see what he sees and to be where he is, rather than reading 10 books at the same time, one page at a time. Like this hero, that hero, that hero. You can watch the big fights on the big stream. This is our very unique perspective on just following one player in a TI game, which I've been loving it so far.
Yeah, that's funny because I used to watch a ton of games on stream, and this is exactly how I watched them.
Same.
And I just stopped doing that, and I think that was partially why I stopped watching competitive, is because I actually enjoyed this far more. So I'm definitely digging this.
It's chaotic. Watching competitive is like, it's for entertainment, but if you are very passionate about learning, then this is the better method.
Agreed.
So he didn't think about that at all. Vindicator's Axe, best in slot with what he was offered anyway. I wish there was some way where we could see what they were being offered.
Yeah, I agree. I have always had that complaint that I have no idea what his other choices were.
Yeah.
Attack speed's really nice, but he also has, like, if he does get stunned, the 20 armor will pay off. But you have to consider he also has Mask of Madness, so the 30 damage will apply when he's Mask of Madness. That's probably the tiebreaker there. 74,
44. Yeah, that's cool. 30. Oh, yeah. That's really sweet. Yeah, it's just Lina stun, pretty much. Oh, yeah, Phantom Embrace. The armor will be really helpful against Bristleback and Lina's follow-up damage.
Yeah, it's the idea that if he does die, it'll be in a stun, right? So even if they only have, like, one stun, it might be worth the 20 armor just for the sake that... As a carry, oftentimes it's like... People ask me why I buy a Linken's if the only hero they have that has a single target spell is PA, for instance. Oh, here we go. Manta Linken's.
Chrono to save yourself. Oh, maybe get one kill.
Oh, he's actually going to turn. Oh my god.
Cool, 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 cool.
And that's why we love the Manta Linken's.
I thought he'll jump into the puddle and TP, but he thinks he can get away with this. What did he use the Manta for there?
To remove the
crypt?
Was there... I will be honest, when I say Manta, it's because it buys you like 0.1 seconds on the active, and then you can time walk away.
Oh, okay.
That's usually why I say it. But then I'm like, wait, did he remove something? I don't think so.
Does it remove the bug from Grim?
It does. It does.
It just disappears, even though normally it requires attacks and kills.
Yeah, it disappears because you're invulnerable for 21 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to see how many HP he survived on. So the interesting part about this is that people usually ask me why I max out, or why I take stats over maxing time dilation.
Yep.
And he lived with 200 HP there. And that's 6 strength is 130 HP, but then we also have to factor in the armor and magic res you get from the int and the agi, so...
And the regen.
Yeah, could very well have killed him if he had max time dilation there.
And to be honest, time dilation doesn't scale that well among all abilities. The slow remains consistent. The first 8-second duration is the same. Like, 11-second is only better during the final 3 seconds. You know what I mean? So, like, in terms of, like, the burst of a moment, it does nothing. Cooldown progression is the same. The best thing about it really is the cooldown and the damage increase. Again, doesn't matter for the first 8 seconds. So if he's not looking to have a fight that takes longer than 8 seconds, getting more of it pretty much doesn't matter. And that's pretty much how he's been playing the game. It's the name of the game for Spirit, is to have short fights of ratting and whatnot. So yeah, he really doesn't need it.
His team is feeding though. And
was it
the
avoidable?
game's looking kind of grim because he did have to use his Chronosphere outside of base.
Yep.
Crazy that I think this is about as bad of a bristleback game as I could imagine, and Notice is unstoppable owning.
Yeah.
Apparently the Zero's just broken. I don't know.
Yeah, he had a very good lane. Very good early lane.
True. He's got Blink Dagger on Bristle. I just checked his items.
What the hell?
Yeah, I guess it's the idea of like kind of hard to walk in against that lineup because they have so many random stuns to throw you. So his idea is like Blink Tags. I don't know. Cool.
Another very educational moment for potentially for chat is that he did not come back even though he has Chronosphere during all this time. He cut some waves, he let the racks die, he kept farming. Best thing he can do, don't want to run in one by one and die.
Exactly, yeah.
What I did expect is that he would cut a second wave mid, but he didn't. Too risky?
Yeah,
1v5?
I think it might be the fact that the fight was over. He only feels covered if the fight's still going, meaning like maybe like the Lina branched off and might be able to hunt him on the second one or something.
Yeah, and then with Spectre help, if she procs his Lincolns with heals, then he could be in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. So he originally had Nullifier as his next item, and I feel like he reactionarily bought this BKB based on like what was he thought they might actually push there on Team Spirit or on Team Virtus Pro. I've definitely done this before. I wonder if he's happy about this decision in hindsight. Like, I wonder if this was like, I need BKB at this very moment. It's, 500 gold cheaper than Nullifier.
The BKB is to man up for like a game-ending fight, whereas the Nullifier would be more useful in the pick and guerrilla tactics.
True.
That he had been on thus far. So I think you're right, and probably Nullifier would feel better now because it has calmed down. They've lost their racks. There is a smoke happening, of course. We know. Sadly, we know. It's too bad that you can't actually disable that information because we don't have the true Yatoro, vision. We're still seeing portraits.
Yeah, we need to wear one of those like blinder hat things. That,
I'll put a post-it on my screen that covers those portraits. But here's the smoke materializing. Oh, that's not a good chrono. They need to get out of here. Feeling almost over.
Yeah. They do have... I'll be honest, we both heavily favor this Team Spirit draft, and it looks very hard to fight this lineup for Virtus Pro.
A little interim appreciation for VP, the underdog here, to dominate the first game.
Yeah. Absolutely. The thing is, from Yatoro's perspective, I think the one death to Spectre where he could have TP'd out, that was in this last previous Chronosphere. I can't really notice much else he did wrong, so I think that's really a testament to how much VP did well in this game.
Yeah, of course, it's hard to judge whether Yatoro could have done things that he didn't do that would, to us, seem creative or unexpected. Like, we can't anticipate that.
That's true.
Wow.
They just own them. Like, I feel like that was usually par for the course when I watch Team Spirit games, like they're usually losing by like 2 to 5K throughout the course of the first 30 minutes, but then it's usually like that one fight that they manage to stall out to, and then Yatoro gets like an ultra kill, and then the game flips. But
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like them forcing Yatoro to use Chronosphere a few times on the map actually prevented this fight from ever happening, which was kind of it was like a cool, like the fact that they targeted Yatoro on the map a bit more, maybe that's something that they prepared going into this series, where they can target their team fight guy, then maybe they won't ever be able to fight us, because that's how
Yeah.
Team Spirit usually plays.
I didn't expect. Like, I don't feel like they messed with him much. Just like 2 times.
Yeah. But both times they did it, it was they forced out Chronospheres, which
Well, the one time it was early in the North Jungle. I think if you ask him on a piece of paper in a dispassionate moment, not in the game, he would probably TP out inside the Chrono if he had had the presence of mind to remember that he's up against Spectre.
true.
And then secondly, there was that moment where he Chronosphered Lina under tower and he ended up trading out with her. That was not great.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that play. Yeah, honestly, that one in hindsight ended up being really bad. We were trying to like justify why it may have been
Force
not like
rotation.
worth it, but
Yeah.
like it would have, like, you know, maybe like this is the worst case scenario and they thought like that's not that bad. But the one thing is, I look at the like late game, and I see this Viper with literally no items. He had Midas, Dragonlance, and a BKB.
Yeah, well, to truly understand whether he could have contributed more to jump in, you would actually need to watch the replay again from his team's perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
Because his
I feel
team
like-
would tell him whether his joining is going to be productive or not.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just thinking, like, how did this... Like, I know Viper doesn't love laning against Lina. I'm almost just wondering, like, how this Viper had so little... What was his build?
That's my average Viper on team.
Viper, I feel like Viper, if he isn't, like, winning his lane really hard, feels like this most of the time.
Yeah.
He went Lance BKB. He went an actual 26-minute Midas on Viper.
26, really?
Yeah, 26-minute Midas on Viper.
Oh, you must have thought they can stall a lot more than what actually happened.
Yeah, what I'm... I don't know. I'm perplexed. I definitely would have to watch Laurel's perspective, but that... For me, I just look at the Virtus Pro lineup and I see no stuns, so I'm thinking like kite. Long fights, just survive the reality, survive the Grimstroke ulti, you know, like Hurricane Pikes and Mantas and Glimmers and Force Staves, and so to see a Viper with no mobility and no Force Staves, actually. They have 0 Force Staves. So I feel like...
You would have got a staff here?
Yeah, it's against Bristle. If you don't Ghost Scepter or Force Staff, his Ags just does like 4,000, or not a 4,000, like 400 damage a Quill or something like that. Because you know, at that point, or not 400 damage a Quill. Sorry, it's like I'm speaking out my ass here. It's like 800 or 900 damage, I think, is the Ags when you pop it with like one other Quill.
Okay.
So suddenly it's like more than half of Viper's HP probably at that stage in the game. And it goes through BKB, and they have, like, none of the supports have one either.
It's so bizarre that he got the 26-minute Midas.
Yeah. Maybe he's in the impression that he needs, like, 3 items, and, like, none of these individual items are good enough.
This is really, really weird, actually. I mean, by this time, when he got it, they were already quite behind, I think. Let's see by the graph. Wait, do I not have Dota Plus anymore?
26-minute Midas. What's
The net worth at
team and
26 minutes. 10k difference.
It's not quite that high.
Oh, no,
It was
no,
actually, like,
5K.
Yeah. But his game's really bad. He was like way behind on the player net worth. Like at 26 minutes, he's the 6th core by 3,000 gold to the 5th core. So he's almost getting surpassed by Pug now. Yeah, Laurel had a very weak showing in this first game. He had 9th pick Viper.